Hello and welcome to Educas Media Studies A-Level, Component 2, Section B, Mainstream and Alternative Media / Magazines. And the focus for today is Woman's Realm and an article called Bottled Beauty, and it's going to be an analysis of this article. And a quick reminder that Woman's Realm is the example of a mainstream product, and we've got to keep thinking about this. It's also a historical product from 1965, and we've got to think about the representations, the design of the magazine within that context. But for mainstream products, generally, they reinforce stereotypes and dominant representations, so don't offer anything that's particularly sort of diverse or challenging. They use conventions in a formulaic way, so if we look at the front cover, it's as we would expect a mainstream magazine to be with the design of it. Driven by a logic of profit and power, so more interested in selling what has already sold before, and if you do that, it can be seen to hold back or inhibit or stop creativity. So we've got to keep thinking about those things. And conglomerates try to minimize risk and maximize audiences by using a sort of format or a formulaic way of presenting things. So it could be reusing genres, reusing stars, reusing things that have already sold. We've already sort of covered that a little. And the article from Woman's Realm that we're going to explore is called Bottled Beauty, and it runs across 2 pages. It's not a full double page spread, it only runs across the top third of 2 of the pages. And the focus for this analysis is going to be positioning, or how the audience are positioned by the article. So positioning an audience means to place them in relation to the article. So how do we understand that a little bit more? So we can think about the concept of the preferred reading. So all texts have a preferred reading when it's created. The creators of the media want a text to be read in a particular way and understood in a particular way. So this would be the preferred reading. And positioning is where you are placed in relation to that preferred reading. And just to move that on a little bit more, so the audience are positioned by the preferred reading, let's just explore the preferred reading a little bit more. So the way the audience or the media want the audience to respond, what do they want them to do with this article? What do they want them to think about? How do they want them to act? Okay, so these are key things that we've got to think about when we are considering the preferred reading. How do the media want the audience to act and behave, and what values do they want the audience to accept? So we're going to go through this and look at this article and come back to those important points once we've done that. So the headline for the article is Bottled Beauty, and of course it uses alliteration with the repetition of the B sound, and it's almost sort of incidental. It doesn't even use uppercase for the beginning of the words. And the interesting thing here is this concept of beauty. So beauty itself is seen as a concept that will be understood by the audience and an ideal for the audience, so a value that the audience would take on board. And in the subheading for this article, or the lead-in for this article, you could call it, we've got the use of the word magic. So this suggests there's some sort of special power being offered to the readers here. So magic is something that's supernatural, it doesn't really exist, but it's being offered to the reader. So the concept of magic, a special power. So the article also has this illustration, which is a sketched image of what we presume are cosmetic products. So what purpose does this actually hold? So what we can do is draw on our knowledge of theory and just think about how we can make a point about this. So for example, if we look at the concept of semiotics, what Roland Barthes would say about this is that these this sketch, this illustration has connotations of beauty. This is about a stage of being beautiful, and that the myth and naturalization connected to this would be that women want to be seen as being beautiful. And within the opening paragraph of the article, you can draw your attention to this word where it refers to experts. Today, when experts have given so much research to beauty products. So the use of experts here is quite interesting. So what this does is create an authority, and it's sort of an authoritative mode of address, because why should the reader trust this article? Well, you could say because it's been researched by experts. It's drawing on the knowledge of experts. Therefore, it has authority to tell the audience about things. So this is another way of positioning the audience. And another interesting word is this word attractive. So it is easier than ever before to look attractive. So again, this is about positioning the audience. It's just presuming that the audience will want this quality to look attractive. But we might think, who are they looking attractive for? Or do you need all these things to be attractive? So there's a number of questions here, but it's not asking those. It's just presuming that this is a value, an idea, a concept that the audience will want. And therefore it's positioning the audience to accept this as a value to accept. So the article has talked about magical, being a touch of magic and having magical powers, and it's drawn on the ideas of experts, so it's gaining an authority to position the audience. But what will give the audience these magical powers? Well, of course, it's broken down into different paragraphs. You can see all these things here. These are the things that will enable the audience to have these powers to make themselves beautiful and attractive. And of course, these are all things that the audience has to buy. So these are products, and this is consumerism. So it's consumeristic values. In order to achieve what the audience are positioned to want, beauty and attractiveness, then they've got to buy into these things. And if you note some of these things, for example, such as moisturizers, there's sort of moisturizers recommended and prices sort of given. So if you have access to these things, such as cleansers and skin foods and moisturizers and so on, then you can have these magical powers, supernatural powers, to make yourself beautiful and attractive. And of course, on the following page, we have other subheadings, so such as hormone preparations, so perhaps aware of older women as well as other sort of magical powers you can get through wrinkle smoothing lotions. Do they really work? Alongside that, of course, highlighted is an image, a photograph of somebody who's presumably applying some sort of cosmetic product to their face. So what do we make of this? What's that there for? So again, we can draw this in to ideas that we've maybe looked at before. And if we think about this as an idealized image, something to uphold, something that the audience might aspire to, and if they're aspiring, we can even link it into John Burgess' theory of the future buyer. So this shows the audience as they could be, maybe not as they are now, but as they may want to be and as they could be in the future. And if we link this into representation, of course, we've looked at Stuart Hall's theory before when we look at the front cover and contents page. And Stuart Hall talks about stereotyping and says that it reduces people to a few simple characteristics or traits. So I want you to think about that and think about, is this article, Bottle Beauty, is this reducing women to a few simple characteristics or traits? What are women interested in? What should women be doing? How are they being reduced what is missed out. It's that sort of thing. So that's a question that we'll come back to. In addition to that, we'll think of, again, the preferred reading. So the preferred reading, the way that the media want the audience to respond. So what is the preferred meaning of this? Because the preferred meaning positions the audience. So how do they want the audience to act and behave? This is a lifestyle magazine. They want them to act and behave by by getting the audience to want these products, to buy these products, to access these products. Okay, so it's following sort of consumerist values here. What values do they want the audience to accept? They want them to accept the concepts of beauty and attractiveness as being desirable, that the audience will want to be attractive and beautiful. That's a way of positioning the audience. And of course, how are the audience encouraged to accept the preferred reading? Well, they offer the audience an idealized image of the woman putting a cosmetic product on her face and offering a version of the future buyer, the world that the audience could possess and could access if only they had these magical powers to do it. And they can get these magical powers by buying into these products. Okay, there'll be a worksheet to follow and address some of these points. Thank you.